It's in the game.
A true big day out for Exeter City. Tonight in the Carabao Cup, they take on the holders, Newcastle United, who need a bounce-back result after a shock draw against Bournemouth, dropping a 3-0 lead. No disrespect to Exeter City, but this will probably be the game where Newcastle earn their first clean sheet of the season. As Bournemouth proved, if you fight to the end, you can get something. And Exeter City will definitely take encouragement from that dropped result. And whether it will amount to anything, we'll have to wait and see. Jacob Murphy making another start tonight as he approaches 30 as well. So Newcastle still have a few players approaching, not regression, not really. Murphy is still more than capable at this level, but the age is certainly maybe something that Newcastle had to bring. They have to plan for the future, basically, is what I'm saying, for sure. But here today, Exeter City, they are the underdogs, to be fair. But like we said, they'll be hoping for all the corners they can get, seeing as that's been Newcastle's weakness over recent times. So James Trafford makes a start tonight. Probably no surprises, really, to be fair. And it's a very much a heavily rotated squad. Morales plays again. Osula gets his first start of the season, as does Ashby and Alex Murphy. Dan Burn comes in. Lucas Miley is in the midfield. Woodworth is in goal. Fridgewater is part of the defence. And I'm trying to remember if there's a player we know here. I don't think so. I don't think there's any former players that stick out to me. Exeter City is not a well-known club in this part of the woods. I think they're League 2. So as we said, it's a big day out for them, really. They aren't expected to win, but the magic of competition is that the underdog stories always are the sweetest to experience. The FA Cup has definitely been a ground for that. The Carabao Cup, probably not that much. Certainly has its, if that's the right way of putting it, certainly has its stories. So maybe we'll get one tonight, who knows. But they're facing a team that are the holders of this competition, of course, winning from last season. And I think they beat Manchester City on the way. Morales with an early shot already. Testing Woodward from way out. That's a very decent strike. Eddie Howe said he couldn't believe it. What happened to him against Bournemouth. He said, well, I probably have done that myself a few times, but we really should have won that game. He was not critical of his team, but he certainly had some stern words for his team. He said they really should have won it, and we're not really sure what went wrong. To be fair, the penalty was a bit of a contentious one because it happened so quickly even I didn't catch it. But it was Morales probably having his arm around the neck of someone, not intentionally or anything. Here's Lucas Miley. He's going to burst into the box. No one's back for Exeter City. 1-0 for Newcastle United. And Lucas Miley gets a goal. Well, the kid played with his brother here. His brother is off to Hartlepool. He stayed put. And he's been rewarded with a goal today. No one really back at Exeter City. The goalkeeper tries he might. Miley it was just a stroll, really. No one was really back for Exeter. And let's be honest here, if Newcastle do turn the screw and turn the pretty play that we've been seeing all season long from them, it could be a very long night for Exeter City here. And well, they came to play, and let's see if they can build on it. But it's never a foregone conclusion in football, but with Newcastle, the way they have the way they have played, despite drawing against Bournemouth, the way Newcastle played has been tremendous. It wasn't that Newcastle played poorly against Bournemouth. They most certainly didn't. They scored 3 goals of their own, but they just rather collapsed defensively, even though you probably could argue that maybe they didn't. Because don't forget, the corner that was scored from was Javi Guerra just couldn't clearing it away, and then they scored from another corner on the other side. So, or an air ball, it was a cross, wasn't it? The second goal was scored from. It was Gaete twice, and then a very contentious penalty that was probably rightly given under circumstances. And James Trafford is in again, and it's purely for rotational reasons once again. Eddie Howe was quick to point that out. So he still believes in Nick Pope. He's not scathing any of his players. He was very disappointed with the result though. But and here comes Murphy. No one at the back for Fleetwood again. Exeter again, sorry. And Osula and Exeter City are in for a long evening. Well, the small teams normally look forward to these kind of occasions, but for Exeter City, I think coming up against the holders probably filled them with dread most likely. They will enjoy the game, and being at St James's Park is certainly a thing you have to experience once in life. It's a wonderful atmosphere here at times, especially with Newcastle playing as well as they are in recent seasons. And even with this season, even without Isak, that was a beautiful turn of pace by Ashby, to be fair. Ashby and Alex Murphy coming in for their first starts of the season. And Burn and Fabian are the centre-back pairing. That's Atchison. Francis. Old Trafford. There's Jolinton. And it's good to see Eddie Howe not taking Exeter completely lightly. Jacob Murphy, Miley, Jolinton in as well, and Bruno Guimaraes, who scores a second, and it's 2-0 already, and we've not even reached 20 minutes yet. And as I was about to say, it's good to see Eddie Howe not take his competition lightly and be complacent. He has sent a lot of his B unit out there, but he's also brought out his captain, Bruno Guimaraes, who scores a rocket, really. And that's a stunning strike, to be fair. That is very much vintage Newcastle United. 2-0. And the long night continues for Exeter City. Francis. It's really unfortunate. Try as they might, it's going to be all difficult. Oh! Goal coming in from the other tie tonight. Middlesbrough and Arsenal. Middlesbrough have scored. They are 1-0 up against Arsenal. And well, are we in for a shock result there tonight? Here comes Murphy. Jacob Murphy, that is. Here's Osula. And Newcastle are turning the screw now. Well, we were talking about this being a fairy tale story. If Exeter could somehow get into this game a bit, we could still have an upset because Middlesbrough are beating Arsenal at the moment. Here's Mikel Arteta taking his foot off the gas a little bit. He has got Newcastle United coming up next in the Premier League for them. Maybe that's where his focus is. And to be fair, that would make sense, because considering the Arsenal signings that they have made, with Bridgie Eze and Victor Gyökeres just to name two, alongside Kepa and others, this is a team that, when fully fit with no injuries, should win the league. Although Martin Odegaard, to a degree, has struggled with injuries in his most recent games. He's been going for injury. He's only been on the injury bed twice. Poor guy. I hope he's okay. He's he's a suspected MCL possibly. He might be cleared though to face Newcastle United. We'll have to see. I mean, I think... Oh, in Trafford. Almost. A bit of a calamity there. I think knowing Martin Odegaard, if he can stand, he'll play. Because that's just the passion that Martin Odegaard has to play football. And especially since he became Arsenal captain. Really has got a lot of leadership qualities, Martin Odegaard. A lot of people really point to Declan Rice for captain duties. I personally think either one would be more than sufficient. Osula. Oh, what a strike by Osula. 3-0 Newcastle United. And he takes in the cheers of the crowd. What a strike. Absolute rocket. The keeper's not stopping it. I think it clipped in off the post as well. Oh, that is some hit by Osula. And no keeper in the world is saving that shot. First goal of the season for him. And it's an absolute belter. Newcastle 3, Exeter City 0. And Miley almost lost it there. Here's Ashby. Murphy winning the ball in towards Osula again. And I think that's going to be a goal kick. No, it's going to be a corner. I don't think Alex Murphy and Jacob Murphy are related. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I'm not really sure. Well, those fans certainly probably would have got on their team's back a little bit if they'd been in St James's Park. Such is the passion that those fans have. But tonight, no such issues tonight. Expected, maybe, but still wonderful when it happens. You can never take football for granted, as Newcastle have found out in recent times. But this is absolutely wonderful play again. Ramsey. And Lucas Miley has already scored today, and the ball's gone right through the keeper. Took the sting out of it and out for a corner. A real zig in these shots. It went through everyone, including the keeper. I don't think the keeper really knew much about it, to be honest. Good save, though. Got his positioning right. It's Murphy with the resulting corner. And Woodworth actually gets there. Here's Mendes Gomez. Hear him. And immediately that move is shut down, and Newcastle come forward again. Osula. Jacob Murphy. Ashby. He receives it. Osula gets it down, brings it down. Bad touch there. Woodworth able to gather it. To Lacazette. Miley doing flash pass there and stopped by the referee for offside against Usala. His arm, literally. Exeter City, but right into the path of Alex Murphy there. Clears it away. Newcastle do play a lot of hoofball at times, just hitting, clearing a ball anywhere, and more often than not giving the ball back to the opponent. Something that Eddie Howe might want to kind of see if he can kind of stamp out a bit. Jacob Ramsey, good save by Whitworth, to be fair. Cole. Dan Burn, to be fair. Still an absolute powerhouse, Dan Burn. And that is one thing Newcastle United have an abundance at the back, such strength and power. But it's a wonder why corners and crosses are such a problem. Morales, bad touch by Sweeney, good save by the keeper, and he's gathered it all up. That was a good save by the keeper. He had to really react well there. Sweeney with a bad touch, to be fair. Well, it's job done for Newcastle, isn't it, already? 3-0. I mean, they did drop a 3-goal lead against Bournemouth, but Bournemouth have probably a bit of a higher ceiling than Exeter City do, with all due respect. It's pretty much job done for them already, as Guatemala's got one. One thing that is interesting about Newcastle United is the variety of different scorers they've had. They've had no one really jump out. Welcome to the second half here at St James's Park. It is a bit of a party atmosphere with probably monicums of respect, really, to Exeter City, who have come to play. And already Eddie Howe is shuffling his deck. Javi Guerra has come on already. Exeter City have also made a substitution. And that was a strike. Not really going to trouble the keeper though. Way wide of Trafford's goal. Not too much, I guess. But Exeter City have been pretty outplayed today, sadly. There'll be no cup upset here, but we've had no update from the Middlesbrough and Arsenal game, so we have to assume that Middlesbrough is still beating Arsenal by that goal to nil. Murphy! And he was offside anyway. It was Alex Murphy of all people. On the ball. It's just a shame that Murphy was offside there. Was that Jacob Murphy actually? I think it was Jacob Murphy. Here's Cole. Will Hayes, who was the substitute that came on. And Trafford once again just hoots it clear and it ends up with an opposing player. That's been one of Newcastle's kind of issues, should we say. And Alex Murphy clears that for a throw. He's under pressure, to be fair. By Alex Murphy on that occasion. So there's finds Trafford. And Trafford was intended for Jacob Murphy, but it's a wonderful play, to be fair. Dan Burn immediately cuts that one out. Now, here's the corner. Exeter will take. They probably know, they've read the scouting report. They'll take comfort in this if they can get something from it. This is probably going to be their best chance. Francis takes it, it's looping. Murphy's there to clear it away. Jointon touches it, and now into buckets and buckets of space with all the time in the world, really. He's actually to have no one back here. Here is Jacob Murphy. Ramsey's coming in. Murphy absolutely belts that into the back of the net. That was emphatic. 4-0. No one in the back for Exeter. No one dealing with Newcastle's pace in this Exeter City team. And what a rocket by Jacob Murphy. The fourth different scorer tonight. And like we said at the end of the first half, it's not all about one person. Weezer is Newcastle's top scorer in the Premier League with 4. Voldemode has 3 in the Champions League. But more often than not, it's been a lot more of a team collective effort from Newcastle United in scoring goals. Even Xerxes has got his as well. Lacazela's not a very good touch there. Burn cuts that out. Francis keeps it in play for Exeter. Francis and unfortunately he's wide. Have to go for it. Well, Probably a bit unkind to say this, but I think it's been fair to say that James Trafford has had a pretty relaxed evening so far. Not really any like dangerous shots he had to think about. And the big one next week, or at the end of this week, Newcastle United taking on Arsenal, and they're raiding in the shots at this point. Big top of the table clash then at I think it's St James's Park. The missus has expressed interest to maybe return to the Emirates for Newcastle's game towards the end of the season. That's one game she really wants to go see, so hopefully we can get it. It's part of the ballot system, of course. How our Emirates attendance works. Alex Murphy, well taken. Oh, Murphy, what a pass. Arsula. And they're just raiding in the shots at this point. And Exeter just really aren't spending a lot of time in the opposing half. Oh, bad pass there by Alex Murphy. There's Gomez. The ball in. Maybe Garrett pulls it away. We've not really seen a lot of him since he came on, but I don't think he's really been needed. Here he is. Riley with a poor pass there, and Sweeney picked it up. Now it's Cole. Cole bursting into the box. Trafford with another relatively simple save, to be fair. And handball against... I think it's against Jacob Murphy there. It's a free kick to Exeter. As comes off. Well, the game is over as a contest, but Exeter's still playing hard and trying to get somewhere. Well, turns, brilliant. And he ran into pretty much a Newcastle brick wall, in all honesty, with about 5 players there. But it was brilliant nonetheless. The touch was exquisite, and the burst of speed wasn't too bad either. It's just unfortunately he ran into a wall. Metaphorically speaking. Fritzer and Fitzwater going for the tried and trusted header, and Dan Burn was beaten there. Well, the ball was bounced over everyone's target for James Trafford there. Well, no real shocks at the St Mary's Stadium. Southampton have taken the lead against, I believe it's Shrewsbury. Doyle Hayes, what a ball. And now Cole. Trafford, just another hoofball really. I think the role of the goalkeeper, you might as well do that. As far away as possible. But giving them the ball really gives them a chance to come straight back. Oh man, this place is beautiful lit up. I am a night person, I will admit, to be fair, but I can't deny how beautiful this place is under the lights. Here's Ashby. Riley lines up a shot. It's a good save by Whitworth, to be fair. Well, he's probably been Exeter's best player by some distance. What a save. Splendid from Whitworth, to be fair. And I only really say that because he's probably had the most action to do. The other Exeter players haven't had a lot to really do, to be fair. really, because Newcastle have had a foothold in this game since minute 1, unfortunately, for the neutrals and for the Exeter City fans that have travelled here tonight. Been in good voice, to be fair. There's Doyle Hayes. Johnson. And Dan Burn. He did get his feet crossed a little bit. Newcastle really just playing it from the back and pinging it around, really. Jacob Murphy. Miley's coming in, as is Osula again. Cleared away. It's funny, really, because Newcastle seem to struggle with corners and crosses, and yet don't really seem to make much for them themselves. They did have a goal from Sven Botman a couple of games ago, but aside from that, tended to stay more on the ground when it comes to passing the ball around. Miley and the Exeter players just switch off, really. And Miley was just able to stroll. Howe is making a couple of substitutions, but it looks like Lewis Hall is actually going to come on for the final 12 minutes or so. Just once the ball's out of play. Smiley, brilliant ball over the top. Osula. We've had to gather it up. It's a good save nonetheless. Cole. Somebody knows how much space he had. It's out for throw. And Weezer's coming on as well. As Liao. Akazilis, Osula making way. Kind of funny how Weezer didn't appear to be in the team uniform there. And Hall came on for Ashby. Liao cuts that one out. Now here's Javi Guerra. A quiet game, to be fair, but it would have been called upon to make one, really make that much of a difference. And Weezer trying the chip over the top there, and it could have really ended up anywhere. Keeper was at 6s and 7s. Ball to Amiguera. Ramsey. You have to say that Newcastle are more or less cruising to the finish line, and Ramsey scores 5-0, and it is game over. I think it was game over some time ago as a contest. Look at Ramsey cutting in, easy as you like. Good strike. Keeper, very unlucky, to be fair. An extravagant celebration, really. Not really sure if I agree with that too much. Newcastle United 5, Exeter City 0. It has been the game we expected, in all honesty. The holders against the minnows, really. Pretty much minute 1, considering the reinforcement that Newcastle have had this in the off-season. I think this was pretty much not in doubt from minute 1, to be honest. Cole. And that's the best chance Exeter have had all night long, I think. That wasn't far off. It probably looks worse on second look than it did when he initially took it. Well, it's been job done for Newcastle for some time. 7 minutes of added on time. Now another 15 minutes and Newcastle will win here. It's been relatively comfortable, to be fair. Their first clean sheet of the season. Trafford really hasn't had a lot to deal with. Finds Weezer. And maybe one last piece of icing to put on the cake. No. Look at the space he has. He realises it and tries to go for the spectacular, but wasn't going to be beaten from that. Gomez. Well, Hayes back to Nunes. Gomez. Probably an Exeter consolation would go a very long way here. And Burn snuffs it out. And a wayward pass again. Cole, and saved by Trafford again. Expected clean sheet, but certainly an earned one from James Trafford's perspective. To be fair, he's made some saves today. He's not had a lot to do, but he's made the saves when he's been called upon. So it's certainly an earned one from his point of view. Well, it was probably expected, really. Exeter, as hard as they tried, Newcastle's real cup-winning progress and prowess, rather, just really won them the day, to be honest. It wasn't really an absolute classic in terms of football match, but Exeter City can take comfort from the fact that they gave some sort of game, but Newcastle, unfortunately for them, just too strong. 5 different scorers, I believe, in a 5-0 win, and it was probably never really in doubt, unfortunately. So let's take a look at all the other scores from this round of the Carabao Cup. This is round 3. Wrexham beating Brentford on 5-3 on penalties after a 2-2 draw. Wrexham's fairy tale goes on. Leyton Orient 0, Crawley Town 1, Everton 0, Aston Villa 3. Everton still waiting for their first win at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Sheffield United 1, Bournemouth 3. Cardiff City 2, Leeds 1, Nottingham Forest 6, Huddersfield 1, expected, but still a very decent result for H. Postecoglou. Southampton did beat Shrewsbury by that goal to nil. Middlesbrough 1, Arsenal 1, so it went to penalties. Arsenal progressed on a penalty shootout, and that saved some blushes for Mikel Arteta there then. QPR lost to Birmingham City by a goal to nil. Liverpool beat Brighton 3-0. Notts County 1, Portsmouth 3. Chelsea 4, Reading 1. Probably no surprises there. An all Premier League tie with Spurs and Ipswich Town. Then ended 3-1. Manchester City 2, West Brom 1. And in a truly wretched season for Manchester United, they beat Hull City by 2 goals to nil. I don't really know if that's an achievement of much. Crawley Town then faced Cardiff City then in the next round. Newcastle have Liverpool. So they'll renew acquaintances there. Another North London derby, Spurs and Arsenal once again in a cup competition. Birmingham City will have Portsmouth. We will have to go down the order in just a moment. Another North London derby in our coverage. We had a lot of them last year, of course. Oh, Chelsea, they have Wrexham. That's unfortunate for Wrexham, but they did win today, so you never know. Manchester United have Nottingham Forest, City have Bournemouth, and it's Southampton that take on Aston Villa that I kind of missed and had to go back to check.